You know that guy who likes to use their knife for everything except cutting? They're using it like a screwdriver, or digger, or a pry bar, stuff like that. It makes the inner knife person inside of us cry. So today, we're going to help those folks find the right tool for the job. On today's episode of Knife AQ, episode 193 of the series where I answer all your questions, sharp or dull. Let's get into it. Hey everyone, David C. Anderson here, coming at you from the KnifeCenter, and of course Thomas behind the camera with the snark as usual. Welcome to the show. What we do is we take your questions from the comment section below these videos, so if you yourself have a question and thinks it's worthy of consideration for a future episode, comment section is your friend. Speaking of episodes though, we're on 193, so we're getting real close to episode 200 now, and we're not quite sure what to do to celebrate that. I think
doesn't mean we've been doing this for 4 years.
Yeah, my goodness. Yeah, my goodness. Probably repeated a few questions here and there, but that's good because they're frequently asked, right? For episode 100, we asked some folks in the industry some questions. They all kind of zoomed in and helped us out. For 150, we had people here, employees at the KnifeCenter, jump on camera and ask me questions. I'm not sure what to do for 200. Drop your ideas in the comments if you have any good ones.
And we might listen to them.
Well, we'll listen to them. We might not act upon any of them, however. But
trying not to say ignore.
Well, we won't ignore them. Let us know. Think if you have anything that might be fun, maybe we'll try some of them. Anyway, today the first question is from JJP7216. My brother-in-law thinks pocket knives are pry bars, chisels, and hammers. What knife would you give him for Christmas? Yeah, as mentioned, these are the kind of things where, as knife people, we see this thing happening and we just do one of these numbers. I've gradually started to be a little more accepting of people that do this, because this is not exclusive, but a lot of the times the folks that I've seen using their knife as a do-it-all type of tool are folks that are actually out there getting stuff done, as opposed to like sitting around. So
at least they carry a knife.
At least they carry a knife and they're not afraid to use it. Those are two things I respect about any person. So I'm not gonna throw the people under the bus too much. However, it still does make me cry a little bit inside. So here's what I would do, JJP, for your brother-in-law. I would get him something that is intended to be all of those things. There are single-piece multi-tools on the market that can maybe get at some of this, but I think the Leatherman Arc is the way to go. It's a very, like a Leatherman for Christmas, that's really a cool thing. Like, I think it's definitely fits the genre, or fits the ask quite nicely. They're about $230, so they're not cheap. But this does all of those other stuff, almost, that your brother already uses. It's got a MagnaCut blade, so you've got a knife blade. Pry bars. Well, you've got in here, why am I opening it? All the other tools are outside accessible. You've got this bottle opener / screwdriver right here that can do some prying quite nicely. Chisels, doesn't quite have a chisel on it. But you do have an awl, or a reamer, whatever you want to call it, that can be sharpened up. If you wanted to modify it for him, you could even make this a tiny little chisel if you wanted. And hammering. This surface here, right around the pivots of the plier heads themselves, Leatherman actually described this as a hammering surface. So you can do that kind of nonsense all day long. I've
actually done that with deck nails.
Have you? With your free?
Yes.
So Thomas carries a free P4, which is the same size and essentially the same frame as this knife right here. And it's held up, hasn't it?
So far.
So far. Wouldn't recommend it as like a hammer replacement. Like, you should still own a hammer, but in a pinch.
Oh, I'm not building a deck with it.
Oh, yeah. Just like we're walking out, you just like tapped it back down, that sort of thing. Yeah.
Same one every time.
The same daggone one. Yeah, it always is, isn't it? Comes with a belt sheath as well as a pocket clip, so you could carry it as a normal, as he normally might, a pocket knife. You've got other cool tools on here like the interchangeable bit system with Leatherman's flat bits, which is always cool. Comes with a few spare bits, I believe, still. Scissors, blade, saw, file, lots of cool stuff right there. And then maybe at least he'll use the right implement on this tool for each of those given tasks. But if you see him using that MagnaCut blade for all the stuff anyway, just take it back from him, give him something else. Next question comes from Frank Tran Design. It says, I'm getting more into woodworking and I've been looking for a good knife I could EDC that would be good at cleaning up mortises and tenons. Do you have any recommendations? Sure. This is another kind of theme of thinking of like the right tool for the job is definitely a chisel in this case. Actually, what I should have done, I did not grab any Scandi ground knives. There are some folding knives out there that are Scandi, which is essentially, you've got the two planes coming right down to zero, no secondary edge. It's kind of like a double planed chisel. Those could certainly work really well. But the place I went to immediately was the Razel Chisel fixed blade from CRKT. And yes, this is an EDC knife. It is a pocket fixed blade. It is the one CRKT pocket fixed blade Razel we didn't show in our pocket fixed blade video earlier this week. So it's a good excuse to trot it out right now. You've got a pocket clip on the sheath right there, and it'll sit quite nicely until you're ready to use it. And the reason I'm recommending this one over the others is this is actually chisel ground as opposed to the other knives, which are ground on both sides and just feature a sharpened leading edge. This one actually is chisel ground, so the backside is flat, so you can actually get flush on your surface and do some chisel-y stuff with it. That'd be a pretty good option. Mora Eldris could be an option. That's a little bit of a fatter handle if you wanted to go with something Scandi ground. The Cold Steel Finwolf.
They make a lot.
Cold Steel makes a Scandi ground folder. Real Steel Pathfinder, some good ones. But either a Scandi ground folder or something like this chisel right here, I think would be the right tool for the job. Next question comes from Pickup Truck Reviews 7085. A question for the video. I'm a skateboarder. And he does pickup truck reviews.
Skateboard trucks.
Skateboards do have trucks, that's true. Looking for a folding pocket knife that I can use to cut skateboard grip tape. I usually carry a utility blade, but it's bulky, bothers me when it's in my pocket, and throws off my balance ever so slightly when skateboarding. The knife would need to be light, have a blade that wouldn't be ruined by cutting grip tape, and it would need to look cool, because frankly, no one wants to shred and then pull out a knife that it looks like it belongs on a work site. Does a knife like that exist? Short answer, no. Longer answer? Longer answer, there you go. So, say like, you need a blade that wouldn't be ruined by cutting grip tape. That stuff's like sandpaper. You're gonna ruin any steel out there, even the superest of super steels, is not gonna be impervious to a hard abrasive material like that stuff. You're on the right track, honestly, with your utility blade, but I think the problem here is you just need to pick a different utility blade holder. What I would go with, this is actually mine that I've been carrying lately, the Big Idea Design TPT Slide. It is lightweight, whereas next to nothing, it's like an ounce. It is cool looking, it is nice and slim, not gonna throw off your balance, I wouldn't think, not that I have any skateboarding experience. You will have to buy blades for this. It doesn't come with blades out of the box. It comes with its travel safe inserts is what they call them. But blades, of course, are plentiful. And what I've been doing lately, these Stanley hook-shaped blades like so. I've been really digging these, especially for breaking down cardboard. I like the hawkbill shape for that. But I think that could be really good, trimming around the edges of a board with your grip tape, on cutting on your grip tape as well. So I would just go with something like this, quite honestly, and chuck the blade when you've cut through just a bit, because that stuff's really aggressive stuff. These are about $80 nowadays, so not cheap, but if you were looking for a premium knife with a steel that could withstand that sort of stuff anyway, you were probably imagining it was going to cost a little bit of money. So that would be my recommendation. And then on top of that, you've got other stuff like the prying function there at the back, which works okay. It doesn't come down to a crisp stop there, so it might not be as effective in some scenarios, but it will work. And a Thank you, Thomas. 1/4" hex driver here on the end. And then if you take the blade out as well, these jaws here work as a universal wrench, which might also come in handy while you're shredding, as you say. But again, like this is another situation where, like our first questioner, a knife is not necessarily, like a stereotypical knife, pocket knife, is not the right tool for the job. And today's episode is all about picking the right tool for the job, which sometimes means no knife. So there we go. Hope that helps. Well, now we come to our segment called Damyr's Buried Treasure, where thanks to Damyr's question several weeks ago, we're going through the alphabet and picking out a brand we've never shown on the channel before. Today we're on letter L, and I want to show you Luft Concepts. This is the AVNT flipper. It is 3 1/4 inches long on the blade with M390 steel. Comes in about $340. This is made by Riot. The blade is really nicely finished. In fact, I think the blade's nicer than even the rest of the handle, quite honestly. The handle themselves is shredded carbon fiber. It's finished nicely, but it's just kind of flat. It doesn't go too crazy in the shape. The blade, however, really elevates itself. You've got that horizontal grain, which always carries that feel of like hand finishing. And in fact, with Riot, I think they do actually hand sand this finish into the blades. I may be wrong about that, but I don't think I am. And then a crowned spine here along the top as well. A really, really nice detail. The handles themselves, as mentioned, are carbon fiber. Plenty of length here, quite honestly, and plenty of space between your index finger and the leading edge. If you like that, great. If not, you can always choke up on this to get a little closer to that edge. There's nothing about that handle that's going to keep you from doing that when that's what the situation calls for. Wire pocket clip, it is reversible. You've got an inset liner lock here as well. The action, we're running on ball bearings. You got a flipper tab at the back and a blade cutout for all your other fidget-friendly opening methods when that's what you want to do. Check them out. This is actually the only knife of theirs we have currently in stock, and it is on the site right now. All right, next we come to the lightning round for today. First question is from Vegas04. Which is better steel, Nitro-V or D2? There's no such thing as better steel in general. There's better steels for given scenarios, perhaps, but there's kind of no such thing as best steel. I've always maintained that. But broad strokes, Nitro-V is going to hold an edge maybe a little bit less than D2. D2 should hold an edge longer, all things being equal, of course. But Nitro-V will be tougher, so you can flex and bend more essentially without breaking. So less brittle, think of it that way. And Nitro-V is also stainless. D2 is only sort of a semi-stainless steel. But choosing the right steel for the right application, right tool for the job, right? Here's two examples I'll mention real quickly because this is the lightning round. We shouldn't be taking too much time here. The RMJ Tactical Jungle Combat knife right here features Nitro-V steel. So think of jungle combat. It's certainly going to be a wet environment, so the stainlessness is good, and it's a combat knife, so you want toughness. In fact, toughness is going to be more important than edge retention on a hard use fighting knife such as this. Nitro-V is nice and tough. So on this 7-inch Nitro-V blade you got right here, it's going to be able to take a beating quite nicely. It's just a cool knife too. I rarely get to handle these because we rarely have some on the shelf because you suckers keep buying them. I mean, suckers, like, you're not a sucker for buying it.
We're here to sell it.
I only said that because I'm annoyed that I don't actually get to have one.
You could buy one yourself.
I could buy one myself, but hey, holidays are coming up. I've got other knives to buy for people. And this right here is the Knives of Alaska Badger. And all of Knives of Alaska's lineup is catered to hunters. And pretty much, as far as I know, all of them use D2 steel. And D2 is a great choice for a hunting knife. D2 features large carbides in its matrix, and those are the things that give it its long-lasting edge because they're very big and very hard. Consequently, that does affect the toughness a little bit. But it's tough enough for hunting. It can withstand coming into contact with bone without, risking too much damage to itself. But the large carbides also in this case can provide the steel with kind of a toothy characteristic to the edge, depending on especially what grit you use to sharpen it. And that toothy nature can be really handy and really effective on skinning tasks and field dressing as well. So it's another choice of, this is a really well-chosen steel for the task at hand. So which one is best between those two? All depends on what you're doing with it, quite honestly. And without asking any follow-up questions, it's hard to answer definitively. So I hope that helps in any case. Both of them are good. Both of them are solid, though. If you're just general purpose EDC, neither one of them is bad. David Zomick says, "Hey DC, I love the videos. Thanks. While we discuss edge retention, toughness, and corrosion resistance all the time, we miss the most important aspect of knife steels used in today's urban environment. What alloy best resists the dreaded sticky packing tape that is so hard to remove after we open a package? This truly is the bane of our modern existence." Sounds like a first world bane of modern problems here. This is another thing where choose the right tool. If this is something that bugs you and just gets on your nerves, don't use a knife. Use a utility blade holder, I would say. Something like that TPT slide from earlier. Easiest way I have found to clean that stuff off is rubbing alcohol. Breaks down adhesives pretty nicely. And you got some hand sanitizer around too. That'll work pretty well. Well, now we come to our final question of the day, which is of course our most seriousest question of the day, which comes from Angry Chiva Fan. What do you recommend for mountain lions? Well, this is another one where sometimes the right tool for the job, the right thing for the job is not a knife. What do you recommend for mountain lions? Plenty of exercise.
A friend with a limp? I don't know.
A friend with a, that's a good one. We can take that. If you don't have a friend with a limp to take around with you in the mountain lion country, I would say at least, and you can't get physically fit enough where you think it's going to make a difference, dress up a little bit. A tuxedo, perhaps. Which would mean we could bring a tuxedo knife like this, the ProTech Tuxedo Godfather, into the mix. Very classy looking thing. Why a tuxedo, you ask? Well, if you're gonna get eaten by a mountain lion, you might as well be Fancy Feast.
Dress for dinner.
There you go. And that's all we have for today, folks. Keep your questions and your most seriousest questions coming in the comments below. If you want to get your hands on any of these knives, well, actually, if you have any alternate suggestions for our folks today, make sure to drop those below as well. If you want to get your hands on any of these knives, check out the links in the description, which will take you to KnifeCenter.com, where in addition to our new Chisel payment options, don't forget about our long-running Knife Rewards program, so you can earn some free money to spend on a future knife. I'm David C. Anderson from the Knife Center. That's Thomas behind the camera. We're signing off. See you next time.